Chris, not the start you wanted, but it wasn't even a game of two halves, was it? It was a game of the last sort of 25 minutes where you really could have got a point.
Yeah, disappointed, so were the lads, bitterly disappointed. I think we did enough to do that. We changed the shape, maybe we were a little bit on the back foot first half, just too protective. A lot of lads probably just on a fine line between being able to play or not. So they did well to be even on the pitch, a couple of them. And until you get that sort of belief second half, it was an okay performance. Once we got the belief and once we were calmer on the ball and switched play and did what we'd done in a lot of the pre-season training sessions and games, we looked excellent. We looked a threat, we looked like we had width, we looked like we were going to score a second goal, and I'm baffled as to why we couldn't get on the end of one of the crosses. Numerous corners, chances. It was front foot football, and I always reference the fans at the end of a game because they usually tell you what you've done, and I have to thank them for their support today. They were absolutely brilliant, genuinely mean it. I've got family in the crowd myself because I'm not far from these neck of the woods, and I just wanted to give them something to go home with, which they deserved after paying the money and driving a long way. So the lads are absolutely devastated in there, I've got to say. But I did say to them, you've given me absolutely everything, and the supporters, and you've shown that second half you don't wilt and you're willing to have the bravery to get on the ball and also create chances. I think the second goal was a killer, really, because of the backing off. We lost the ball when we probably think we were in good possession, and we lost it, but we've still got to react. We've still got to get back in numbers, and at some point someone's got to transition to go and press and try and affect the ball, and we didn't, so that was really poor from us. But back to the training pitch on Monday, back at it to try and resolve these issues, and a nice, easy game to follow.
You've spoken about the second goal there. Were you as well disappointed with the first goal? Because boys had a header that just went wide, didn't quite learn your lesson.
No, we didn't. Didn't get to the switches quick enough. Any cross into the box is dangerous. And then the second phase came out, did it again. It's disappointing. And we've been good at that. You've seen the size of the team. We've got, a lot of lads that are 6'2", 6'3", and over. So again, we'll need to look at that. Stop the cross in the first instance and then stay with your man on the second transition of play, which we didn't. So the goals were poor, all goals conceded against the poor, but I'm heartened by the second half because I genuinely think that they believed it. They just didn't have enough in that final third to probably believe someone's going to be that goal scorer.
We must speak about Pearson because he made a real difference.
Yes,
he obviously made the goal. Do you wish you made that substitution just a little bit earlier?
Potentially. We were talking about it. I think when we'd perhaps come out in the second half, you want to stay in the game because we're playing against a good side. So my thought process was stay in the game, and then for the last 20 minutes, go for it. I mean, I won't be the first manager to do that, but on reflection, benefit of hindsight, of course, because he did look bright as a button, and it's given me a real selection problem in a good way. So he was a real plus. I thought Charlie Wakefield was excellent in both roles. I know he's learning all these positions at the moment, certainly wing back, which is a tough one for him because he's not used to it, but you can play very high as a wing back. You don't have to be deep all the time protecting your centre half. So there was some big positives to take away. It's just a hard pill to swallow today because I don't like losing.
As you say, you went back to that back four, and Jamille Records got his goal.
He did.
From there, he was outstanding.
Yeah, he played really well. Like I say, he was one of a number of good performances, no doubt about it. We've just got to iron out these goals against that we saw today, and they can be ironed out. We can affect that. Certainly, we can affect it. I reiterate that the boys have given everything. I can't argue with that, and they're shattered in there and disappointed because we really thought we'd come here today and win or get a result. Hasn't happened. Dust ourselves off. I'm still going to be on the phone all next week because we want to add to what we've got. We've got to add to the quality we've got, and we have got quality. We just need a little bit more to be able to go into a full season with a squad of real depth.
Of course, missing Lawson Diaz.
Yes.
Is there a time that he's going to be back?
It's just a recurrence of an injury, and it's so frustrating for him because he has missed 2 pre-seasons and he's working hard. He keeps trying to come back and it's breaking down. So I've got a lot of sympathy for him. Perhaps he's trying too hard to come back, and you know what it's like in sport. You want to get back, and sometimes you've got to be patient. So hopefully towards the end of next week he starts a little bit more intense work because he's a quality footballer, and that's what we need. We need to break down teams, and we need that lion heart aggression, but we also need good footballers, and he is one. So lots of work to do, but heartened by what they've given me today.
You mentioned earlier, tough one up next at your first match at Hewish Park. You said you've got a selection headache. Is that not only sort of Pearson coming on and doing well, but is that positionally as well? I spoke about Charlie Whitmer.
Definitely. We've got to look at what Wrexham have in their armoury, and they've got a fair bit. So we are well aware of who we're playing, that's for sure. Any team that spends the money they have will have good players, but we've shown today with a small squad and a bit of heart that we're very close to being a good side, in my opinion. So Wrexham's a great challenge. The lads are looking forward to it. Why not play them now? You've got to play them at some point. The supporters will turn up, I hope, because they've been brilliant today, and we're so determined to try and give them a team that can be proud of. Fell a bit short today, but as I say, we'll work our socks off to put a performance on next week. Thank you.
Can I ask about Matty Gravosti? We
Yes.
saw a little glimpse of him at the end. A player I think Chris Todd knows quite well from the
Yes.
English colleges
He does.
system. A very late introduction to the squad. How quickly did he have to sort of come in? Was he?
Yeah, it was late.
Meeting
It was
the
late.
lads this morning?
Yesterday. We just made the decision that we had the opportunity, to be honest, and we thought that it was a good option because what he'll do is run his socks off. He's brave. He was probably a bit bewildered coming on today because you're going into the fire of a game, which is, I liken it to a League 2 game. It is, the standard's high, so that's a tough introduction for him. But he's a real character, and I don't think he'll be fazed by it. He just needs more training time with us to get used to the lads, as you rightly say, and I think he'll be great for the club.
And a bit of a change in the goalkeeping department as well. Max Evans has gone out on loan. He's played today for Larkhill, but Will Buse has come in. Is he coming in to be a real challenge towards Grant Smith in that number 1 shirt?
Yeah, Smithy wants that. He wants to be challenged. He wants to be pushed, and Max pushes him as well every day. It's just that progression of Will's gone out and done that, and now Max does that, and that's what we're trying to do. We keep good people in the building. He works his socks off in training still for us, but Smithy wants that. He wants to be pushed. He wants to be better. And Will definitely do that, and anyone who saw him at Taunton will know how good he is and how highly thought of he is at City. So we've got them at the back end of the field. We need them at the top end of the field.
Well, I was going to say actually, because you're 2-0 down, you turn around, you see a lot of inexperience there. You've talked about trying to bring in someone. We're missing a number 10 and a number 11 on the squad numbers. Is experience one of the key elements you're looking for?
Definitely, but experience costs a lot of money in the main, and we have to cut our cloth to our own club and our own finances. And I maintain that we can't be frivolous, because you can't exist as a football club. It's so difficult. Someone's got to put the money in, and it's a lot of money to run a football club. I would love millions of pounds, everybody would, but the reality is we want to be competitive with what we have, and we were today. So we've got to get that recruitment right and try and get the players in, and I can assure you that 24/7 for the last 6 weeks I've tried to do that. It's fallen through a couple of times at the last minute, which is disappointing, which happens, but let's hope it doesn't fall through next week.